Hello viewers, before we continue with this amazing story, we will like you to be part of our family. Subscribe today and turn on the notification bell, watch to the end and don't forget to tell us where you're watching from. Now let's get back to the story. The afternoon sun was hot like fire. Mira tied her tiny babies, Zara and Zina, close to her chest with an old faded scarf. They were just 1 month old, and their soft cries were dry from hunger. Mira had not eaten since yesterday night. Her breast milk was drying up. She wiped sweat from her forehead and looked at the street, hoping to see her husband, Bayo. He had left in the morning without saying where he was going. Mira sighed. She kissed Zara and Zina gently and whispered, "Don't worry, my angels. Mama will find food today." There was only one person she could think of, her old friend, Nane. They had been friends since secondary school. Nene lived just a few streets away. Mira wrapped her babies tighter and walked slowly to Nene's house. When she reached, she knocked softly. No answer. The door was not locked. She pushed it open gently and called, "Nene?" From the bedroom, she heard laughter, a laugh she knew too well. Bayo's laugh. Mira's heart froze. She tiptoed closer, carrying her crying babies. Through the small open door, she saw them. There was Bayo, half naked, drinking malt and laughing with Nene. Nene were just a short wrapper, nothing else. They were sharing pieces of meat like children during Christmas. Bayo saw her first. Instead of shame, he looked angry. "Why are you barging in like a mad woman?" he shouted. Nene just hissed, not even covering herself. "Don't you know how to knock?" she said lazily. Mira stood frozen. The babies cried louder in her arms. Her lips shook, but no words came out. "So this is where you have been disappearing to?" Mira whispered. "Our daughters are hungry. I came to Nene to beg for help. And I find you too, like this." Bayo laughed coldly. "You expect me to stay for 2 girls? Girls? Not even 1 boy?" Nene chuckled and said, "She should thank God you even stayed this long." Tears filled Mira's eyes. "They are just babies. 1 month old. You're blaming them already." Bayo sneered. "The doctor said your womb is finished. No more children. You're like a broken spoon, useless." Nene laughed loudly. Mira's knees were weak. "I didn't come here to beg for love," she said quietly. "I came to feed my children. But God is watching." Bayo hissed. "Tell him to send you rice and beans then." Mira said nothing more. She backed away slowly, holding her daughters tight. The sun outside burned, but the fire in her chest burned hotter. She walked home without even knowing how her legs moved. When she reached her 1-room house, she sat on the floor and looked around. The fan was broken. The roof leaked. The stove was dry. But inside her heart, something had changed forever. She kissed Zara and Zina's heads and whispered, "Your father turned his back on us. But I will never turn mine." 5 years passed. Mira sat on a broken bench outside her small house. She watched Zara and Zina run around the dusty compound, laughing loudly. Their feet were bare. Their clothes were old. But their smiles shined like the morning sun. They were 5 years old now, tall, smart, and full of life. Mira smiled. But inside her heart, there was a deep worry. It was time to send them to school. She couldn't wait any longer. She picked up their worn birth certificates and packed their Sunday clothes into a nylon bag. She looked around the house, cracked walls, leaking roof, and sighed. She had saved small money from washing clothes for people. But it wasn't enough for school fees, books, and uniforms. She needed help. There was only one person she could think of, Uncle Tio. He was an old family friend. When Bayo was still around, Uncle Tio used to call himself brother from another mother. He always acted rich, always claiming he had big connections. Mira tied her cleanest wrapper, combed her hair neatly, and walked to Uncle Teo's house. The gate was open. She walked in and knocked. "Mira!" Uncle Teo shouted with a big smile. He looked her up and down. "God really took his time when making you." Mira forced a smile. "Good afternoon, sir." "Come inside, my queen," he said, leading her in. The house smelled of old soup and dust, but Mira sat politely. She cleared her throat. "Sir, I came to ask for help," she said quietly. "My daughters are ready for school. But I don't have enough money. Uncle Teo raised his eyebrows. You want to send girls to school? He asked, laughing. Yes, sir. They are very smart, Mira said proudly. He laughed again. Mira, who trains girls these days? You will suffer, and they will just get married and forget you. Myra's heart hurt, but she kept quiet. Uncle Teo leaned closer, smiling like a lizard. I can help you, he said, but not for free. Myra's heart started beating fast. What do you mean, sir? He licked his lips. You're too fine to be suffering. I want you. Be my woman. I'll take care of you. I already have 3 wives. You can be the 4th. Mira stood up immediately. Sir, I came here with respect. I will not sell myself for school fees. Uncle Teo shrugged. Suit yourself. Your stubbornness will only bring you suffering. Mira picked her bag and walked out quickly. The hot sun hit her face, but she walked tall. That night, Mira sat alone on her bed, staring at her babies sleeping peacefully. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She whispered, I will never sell myself. Even if we have to sleep outside, you will go to school. The next morning, Mira made the hardest decision of her life. She decided to sell the small old house her father had left for her. A man with a dusty cap came to check the house. He kicked the broken tiles and shook his head. This house is useless, he said. The roof leaks. The walls are tired. But because it's in a good area, I'll buy it. Mira nodded silently. The house held all her memories, her father, her pregnancy, her daughter's first steps. But now it was the price for a better future. The man gave her a brown envelope. Mira didn't even count the money. She just said, thank you. That day, Mira and her daughters became homeless. But she was not hopeless. She used part of the money to pay school fees, all the way to university. She bought uniforms, small bags, and second-hand shoes. The little that remained went into food and survival. They moved into an uncompleted building near the market, a place with no windows, no doors, just cold walls. When it rained, they placed bowls to catch the water. When the sun burned, they slept on the bare floor. Mira washed clothes, cleaned shops, and did any job she could find. Some days she came home with wounds on her hands. Some days she came home with only soaked Gary for dinner. But every night, she whispered into Zara and Zena's ears, we are not poor. We are only passing through hard times. One evening, as Mira was washing clothes near the broken building, an old woman passed with a basket of oranges. She looked at Mira and stopped. You live here? She asked. Yes, Ma, Mira replied politely. The woman stared at the twins, dusty but happy, reading an old book. My house is too big for just me, the woman said kindly. Come and live with me. Stay as long as you need. No rent. Mira fell to her knees. God bless you, Ma. God bless you 1,000 times. From that day, Mira and her daughters had a real home again. It was a small, simple house with water, a garden, and kindness. The old woman treated them like her own family. They prayed together, ate together, and dreamed together. Years passed. Zara and Zena grew into strong, beautiful young women. They passed every class with flying colors. Both of them had the same dream, to become lawyers. And they chased it together. The day finally came. After many years of hard work and prayers, Zara and Zena graduated from university. Both of them wore black gowns and caps, smiling brightly. Mira stood outside the hall, holding a small nylon bag and wearing her best wrapper. Her heart beat so fast she thought it would jump out of her chest. When she saw her daughters walking towards her with their certificates in hand, she couldn't hold it anymore. Tears poured down her face. Mama, we made it. Zara shouted. Mama, we are lawyers now. Zena added, laughing through her tears. Mira dropped her bag and hugged them tightly. She kissed their faces again and again. My angels, my queens, you kept my heart alive, she whispered. That night, they sat outside the small house and lit a candle for the old woman who had saved them many years ago. She had passed away before seeing this day, but they knew she was smiling from heaven. They prayed for her, for their mother, and for all the women who fight silently every day. Far away, Bayo sat in a small, dark room. His face looked older than his age. His back was bent from carrying heavy loads for men younger than him. He had nothing. No wife. No house. No love. He sat alone, remembering the past. He remembered Myra's tears. He remembered the tiny babies he abandoned. The words he heard at the barber shop that morning hit him harder than any slap. Have you heard? Myra's daughters are now big lawyers. They even work for a top law firm. Bayo had pretended not to hear. But inside, the shame burned. His stomach turned. His eyes filled with tears he refused to wipe. I threw away diamonds and chased after stones, he whispered to himself. And the room felt colder. One Saturday evening, Zara and Zina sat with their mother. They had waited years for this moment, but it was never easy to ask. Mom, Zara said softly. Mira looked up. Yes, my dear. We want to ask about our father, Zina said carefully. Mira froze. The knife she was using to peel yam fell from her hand. Please, Mom, Zara added. We are grown now. We can handle it. Myra's hands shook. She wiped her eyes but said nothing. After a long silence, she spoke. You were only 1 month old, she began, her voice trembling. There was no food. I was weak. I went to my best friend, Nene, to beg for help. But when I got there, she paused, swallowing hard. I found your father, with her. Laughing. Eating meat. Acting like we were nothing. Zina gasped. Zara covered her mouth. He told me I was useless because I gave him girls. He said my womb was broken. He left us without looking back, Mira said, tears rolling down her cheeks. The girls were shaking. How could he? Zina whispered. I don't know, Mira said. But I made a promise that day, that no matter what, I would raise you both with love. Zara and Zina hugged her tightly. Mama, you're our hero, they said through tears. And that night they cried not because they were weak, but because they were proud. Meanwhile, Bayo's life became worse. One day, he came home and found the woman he had chosen over Mira, Nene, sitting with another man in his small room. They were drinking, laughing, like he didn't even exist. What is this? Bayo shouted. Nene laughed loudly. This is what you left your family for, she said. A woman who doesn't even respect you. They argued. They insulted each other. And Bayo finally realized he had lost everything good in his life. That night, he sat alone, head in his hands. I left gold for garbage, he whispered to the walls. And the walls stayed silent. 2 days later, a loud knock came at Bayo's door. Before he could stand up, police officers rushed in and pointed guns at him. Bayo Akinwale, you are under arrest for the murder of Nene Adeola. What? Bayo shouted. I didn't kill anyone. But they didn't listen. They handcuffed him roughly and dragged him outside. Neighbors came out and whispered. Some shook their heads. Some laughed. Bayo cried, I'm innocent. Please, someone believe me. But nobody cared. Nobody trusted him. At the police station, they didn't ask questions. They had already written their report. The powerful man Nene had been seen blamed Bayo to protect himself. In court, the case was rushed. Bayo had no good lawyer. Nobody defended him properly. The judge didn't even look at him twice. Bayo Akinwale, the judge said coldly, you are sentenced to death by hanging in 60 days. Bayo fell to his knees in the courtroom, crying loudly. But I didn't kill her. I swear I didn't. The guards pulled him up roughly and dragged him away. In prison, Bayo sat in darkness. He had nothing left except regret. No visitors. No friends. Only memories. One day, Bayo's old neighbor, Musa, came to visit him. Musa was the only person who still showed him small kindness. Bayo rushed to the bars and grabbed Musa's hands. Please, Musa, please find Mira for me. Find my daughters. Tell them I'm sorry. Musa's eyes filled with tears. Bayo, they have built their own lives now. They owe you nothing. I know, Bayo cried. But before I die, I want to say sorry. Even if they don't forgive me, at least they should know I asked. Musa nodded slowly. I will try, he said. No promises. But I will try. Musa stood nervously in front of a tall, glass building. It was beautiful, the kind of place only important people entered. He wiped his hands on his trousers and walked inside. At the front desk, a young woman smiled at him. "Good afternoon, sir. How may I help you?" I'm looking for Miss Zara or Miss Zina. It's urgent." "Do you have an appointment?" she asked. "No, but it's about their father." The woman's face changed. She picked up the phone and called. "Miss Zara, a man is here. Says it's urgent about your father." After a moment, she nodded. "Go to the second floor, office 210. Musa thanked her and hurried up. When he entered the office, Zara sat behind a big desk, dressed smartly in a black suit. Zina stood beside her. They both looked strong and beautiful, nothing like the little girls he remembered. Zara spoke first. "Yes? How can we help you?" Musa swallowed hard. "My name is Musa. I was your father's neighbor. He asked me to come." Their faces turned hard. "We don't know him," Zina said coldly. "I know," Musa said quickly. "I know he hurt you. I'm not here to excuse him. He just wants you to know he is sorry. He's dying. And he doesn't want to die without your forgiveness." The room fell silent. Zara and Zina looked at each other. After a long moment, Zara said, "Thank you for the message. We will think about it." Musa bowed his head. "That's all I ask. Thank you for listening." He left quietly, and the girls sat in silence, feeling emotions they didn't know how to name. That night, Zara, Zina, and Mira sat quietly around the small table. The air felt heavy, like rain was about to fall inside the room. "Mama," Zara said softly, "Musa came to see us today." Mira looked up, her eyes sharp. "What did he want?" He said Papa is dying," Zina whispered. "He's asking for our forgiveness." Mira stood up suddenly. She folded her arms tightly across her chest. "That man," she said, "the one who called us useless? The one who left us to starve?" Zara and Zina stayed quiet. Myra's lips trembled. "For years I cried myself to sleep. For years I begged strangers for food. While he lived free, like we didn't exist." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "My daughters wore torn shoes to school. I worked until my hands bled. Where was he then?" "Mama," Zina said gently, "we know. We remember. But forgiveness is not for him. It's for us." Mira wiped her face roughly. "He doesn't deserve it," she whispered. "Maybe not," Zara said. "But if we hold on to the pain forever, we stay prisoners too." Mira sank into the chair, tired. After a long silence, she nodded slowly. "Fine," she said. "We will go. We will hear him. But not because he deserves it. Because we choose peace over pain." The girls stood up and hugged her tightly. And the next morning, they made the long, hard journey to the prison. The prison was cold and smelled like wet stones. Guards led them through long, dark hallways. Finally, they reached the visiting room. Through the thick bars, they saw him. He was sitting on the floor, thinner than they remembered. His hair was gray. His hand shook. When he saw them, he gasped. "Mira, Zara, Zina," he whispered, struggling to stand up. Mira stayed still, her face unreadable. The girls also stood quietly, their hearts beating fast. Bayo dropped to his knees. "I'm sorry," he cried. "I'm sorry for every tear, every hunger, every pain." He couldn't even lift his head to face them. Myra's voice was steady, but heavy. "Look at them," she said, pointing at Zara and Zina. "These are your daughters. You walked away when they were 1 month old." Bayo lifted his eyes slowly. "They are beautiful," he said, his voice breaking. "They are strong." "Yes," Mira said, her voice cracking. "Not because of you, but in spite of you." Bayo bowed his head again. Tears fell like rain. Zara stepped forward. "We heard what happened," she said. "We know you didn't kill Nene." Bayo shook with sobs. "I didn't. I swear I didn't. But maybe this is my punishment." Mira spoke gently but firmly. "You don't get to decide your punishment, Bayo. But today, we choose something for ourselves." She took a deep breath. "I forgive you." Bayo gasped loudly, covering his face. "And so do we," Zina said. For our peace. Not because you deserve it, Zara added. Bayo wept loudly, his shoulders shaking like a child. Thank you, thank you. I can die in peace now, he said between sobs. Zara and Zina looked at each other. Then Zara said something that made him freeze. You're not going to die, Papa. We're lawyers now. And we're going to fight for you. Bayo stared at them in shock. You would fight for me? He whispered. Yes, Mira said quietly. Because no innocent man should die for a crime he didn't commit. And because our daughters believe in justice. Bayo dropped his head again, overwhelmed. For the first time in many years, he felt something he thought he would never feel again. The very next day, Zara and Zina returned to their law firm. They sat together in the small office, papers scattered everywhere. Zina leaned over a file and frowned. Something is not right, she said. Zara nodded. No fingerprints. No proper pictures. No clear report. They both stared at the files in shock. It's like they already decided Papa was guilty before they even asked questions, Zara said. Zina slammed the table softly. We need evidence. Real evidence. They didn't waste time. They went back to the neighborhood where Nene used to live. They knocked on doors, asking everyone they could find. Most people shook their heads and closed their doors. But finally, one old man with gray hair whispered to them, Go and meet Mr. Fola. His shop has a camera facing Nene's gate. Zara and Zina rushed to Mr. Fola's small store. It smelled of engine oil and dust. When they explained, Mr. Fola scratched his head. I don't check the camera often, he said. But if something is there, you can take it. He gave them the footage from the day Nene died. Their hands shook as they placed the flash drive into their laptop. They pressed play. There was, clear as daylight, Chief Damola, the powerful man Nene had been seeing, entered her house that afternoon. Hours later, he rushed out alone, looking left and right like a thief. Zina paused the video. That's it, she shouted. We have him. Zara said, her eyes wide. They hugged each other tightly. Hope had finally arrived. Without wasting time, Zara and Zina filed a motion in court. They presented the CCTV footage. They attached the weak police reports. They added statements from neighbors. The news spread like wildfire. Wrong man sentenced to death. Lawyers find shocking new evidence. Fight for justice. TV stations talked about it. People on the street talked about it. Even schoolchildren knew about it. Everyone started asking, how could they try to kill an innocent man? The court reopened Bayo's case. Chief Damola was arrested and dragged to court. In front of the judge, the CCTV was played for everyone to see. Chief Damola tried to lie, but the video spoke louder than his words. The judge shook his head sadly. You killed Nene Adeola. And you tried to destroy another man's life to hide your shame. He banged his gavel. For your crime, you are sentenced to life imprisonment. Chief Damola was taken away in handcuffs. The next morning, Bayo stood outside the prison gates, wearing worn clothes but a free man at last. The sun kissed his face. For a moment, he closed his eyes and just breathed. Then he opened them, and there they were. Zina, waiting for him with small smiles and open arms. Bayo dropped to his knees and covered his face, overwhelmed. Mira stepped forward. She helped him stand. It's time to come home, she said. And this time, Bayo walked beside his family, not as a broken man, but as a man blessed with a second chance. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. There was still hunger sometimes. There were still days when the roof leaked. There were still small problems, like broken slippers and late rent. But something had changed forever. Hope had come back. Bayo worked small jobs. He was no longer proud. He swept streets. He carried loads in the market. He did anything honest to earn a little money. Every night, he came home tired but smiling. And every night, Mira cooked simple meals and thanked God. Zara and Zina rose fast in their law careers. Their names became known in town. The twin lawyers of justice. They bought their mother a small house with a good roof and clean water. They filled her room with flowers, soft chairs, and warm blankets. Sometimes Mira sat on the front steps, holding a cup of tea, smiling at the sky. She whispered to herself, God, you remembered me. Thank you. Bayo never stopped saying sorry. But Mira told him one evening, Bayo, we don't live in the past anymore. We live in today. He cried that night, not from pain, but from gratitude. And every time Zara and Zena stood in court fighting for the poor and the voiceless, they remembered the woman who tied 2 hungry babies on her chest and promised them the world. She didn't just give them life. She gave them wings. And they soared. Thank you everyone for watching this story to the end. Tell me in the comments section if you enjoyed the story, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you on the next one.